Asked. We now move, therefore, to the next question, the fourth oral question. Lord Lexton.
I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
Baroness Scott of Bybrook.
My Lords, we want to continue work in the Joint Committee to address outstanding concerns, to provide space for those discussions without the threat of significant disruption. We've taken several temporary operational measures to provide more time for businesses to adapt to the new requirements, consistent with our pragmatic and proportionate implementation of the protocol.
Lord Lexon.
What has been the reaction of the business community in Northern Ireland to the strenuous and welcome efforts the government are making to diminish the problems that they face as a result of the protocol? Do the government have a plan, a roadmap even, to replace the protocol with a set of arrangements capable of commanding the confidence of the majority of our fellow countrymen and women in Northern Ireland whose faith in the Union has been shaken by the government's departure from the commitment on which ministers set such store to restore full sovereignty in every part of our country?
We have been in close contact, my Lords, with the business community across Northern Ireland as we have announced these measures, and there's been several expressions of support. That is because we are focused, as everybody should be, on avoiding unacceptable disruption to the day-to-day lives and ensuring an effective flow of trade from east to west. On my noble friend's other point, the protocol is explicit that it rests on democratic consent across Northern Ireland. All sides need to work to sustain it. That is why we are committed to giving effect to the protocol in a pragmatic and proportionate way that was intended, taking account of the Belfast Agreement in all its dimensions, both north, south and east, west. And that is why we want to work with the EU on a durable and pragmatic arrangements for trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland in the long term.
Dobbs.
Does the Minister agree that in the EU we are thought to be in breach of our legal obligations? No matter how much the government denies that that is the case, what does the government propose to do to repair the damage to this country's reputation?
My Lords, we do not agree that we are in breach of our legal obligations. The steps we took are lawful and consistent with the progressive and good faith implementation of the protocol. They are temporary operational steps where additional delivery time is needed, consistent with the common practice internationally of temporarily delayed implementation for operational and delivery reasons.
Lord Wallace of Saltaire.
My Lords, since sanitary and phytosanitary checks are a major problem in trade across the Irish Sea, and since the government has now made it clear that it does not intend to lower such standards in negotiations with the United States, could the Minister tell us whether the government has any current plans to diverge from EU SPS regulations in the next 4 to 5 years? And if there are no plans for significant divergence, could Her Majesty's government not declare that we will continue to adhere to EU standards until the next major review, as in effect we are doing on data regulation? Or is the principle of sovereignty here more important than the practice of food imports and exports?
My Lords, we indicated in last year's negotiations that we were interested in an equivalence mechanism covering agri-foods, and the EU was not. We continue to be interested in such discussions if the EU is open to them. We will not agree to arrangement based on dynamic alignment, as this could compromise our future SPS rules and our trade agreements.
Lord Moylan.
My Lords, in the course of the vaccine rollout, Northern Ireland has benefited hugely from its place as an integral part of the United Kingdom. Will my noble friend the Minister confirm that from the 31st of December this year, all medicines, including vaccines and any necessary COVID boosters entering Northern Ireland, will fall under the regulation of the European Union and will need to be batch tested in the EEA? Will she agree that if the government allows this to happen, it will be a risk and a detriment to all the people of Northern Ireland, and indeed will call into question the very concept of a national health service?
My Lords, the arrangements we have in place this year are to provide time for us to work with the industry. We are doing this intensively to ensure there is no disruption to medicine supplies in Northern Ireland from 2022 and beyond. And in any case, UK authorities will remain as the responsible regulators, and so Northern Ireland will continue to be able to benefit from the vaccine rollout in the same way as the rest of the UK.
Lord Billy Moore.
My Lords, Northern Ireland now has one of the most unique trading positions in the world. We know the protocol is not perfect, and yet at the CBI, of which I'm president, our members tell us they want to make it work. But it's still not plain sailing, including issues around goods at risk, rules of origin, SPS checks and controls. Following the recent events around Article 16, would the noble lady, the Minister, agree that we need to see calm and confidence restored through extensions to existing grace periods being promptly agreed between the EU and the UK, working together with business? And would she also agree that we need to reduce complexity, which is creating barriers to trade and investment?
My noble lord is right in everything he says that we need to continue to support, and we have extensively supported all businesses in Northern Ireland, and those particularly moving goods between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. We've provided them with over £200 million of support through our Trader Support Service, and this has processed over 200,000 declarations. You might like to know, my lords, that 98% of those declarations are handled within 15 minutes, and calls to the centre are answered within 6 seconds. So, my lords, this is the way that we are supporting those businesses in Northern Ireland and the trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Lord Murphy of Dauphin.
My lords, whatever your views on the Northern Ireland Protocol, and of course it was created by this government, and there are problems, doesn't the Minister agree that the only permanent way to resolve these issues is through proper discussion and negotiation between the government, the European Union, Ireland, and the political parties in Northern Ireland? That is how we've achieved progress over the last 25 years.
My Lords is right, and we want to continue discussions with the EU through the Joint Committee to address the outstanding concerns and establish arrangements that can provide durable, pragmatic and proportionate basis for particularly the East-West trade. And the steps we took were simply to provide the space for those discussions without undue disruption.
Baroness Sadi.
My Lords, it's very hard to see how the government's current unilateral approach is going to lead to positive results. But one area where working productively with our European partners would make a very real positive difference to the UK food producers is agreeing an EU-UK veterinary agreement. Can the Minister say what progress has been made on negotiating that agreement?
I'm very sorry, but we are continuing to discuss many things, including the veterinary agreement. I will write to the noble lady with a fuller response.
Lord MP.
The government and the European Union say that the protocol is designed to support the Belfast Good Friday Agreement. As one of those who negotiated the agreement, I can confirm that the protocol is the very antithesis of the agreement and is deeply damaging to the Union as well. Will my noble friend confirm that Her Majesty's government will be prepared to meet with some of us to discuss the many viable alternatives to this damaging treaty, which is a sledgehammer to crack a nut, dealing with not that less than 0.1% of European trade flows?
My Lord, I'm afraid I don't agree. The protocol is a unique solution to complex challenges that we were confronted with, and we are committed to implementing it, but in a pragmatic and a proportionate way, as I have said. I will take back the offer from the noble lord to the department and see what we can arrange.
Lord Cormack.
Lords, is it not a fact that when the EU suspended Article 16, it immediately recognised its profound and frankly stupid mistake? And should we not be doing everything possible to calm and improve relations with our former partners in the EU, and not taking measures which could jeopardise the chances of the European Parliament ratifying an agreement which brought a degree of stability and much relief at the beginning of this year?
Indeed, my Lord, we do need to proceed carefully as part of our progressive and good faith implementation of the protocol. Our focus is on minimising the impact on everyday lives in Northern Ireland, and we are committed to working with the EU to do that, addressing outstanding concerns and restoring confidence on the ground. The steps we took were simply temporary operational steps to avoid unacceptable disruption as those discussed proceed.
My Lords, the time allowed for this question has elapsed, and